What's up, everybody? It's your girl with the vibe, LexiLive, and we are back again with another dynamic week of the vibe segment. As you know, we start with our beauty tip of the week, and I like the one that I did a few weeks ago. I'm gonna just keep it. I think it was last week. I'll keep it the same. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believe, put all your trust, put all your weight, put all your instinct, put all your everything. Believe in him. You won't perish. You won't faint. You won't die. You won't sell out. You won't fall, but you'll have everlasting life. Our three thankful thoughts for the week. My one is prayer, a prayer life, and praying friends. I am thankful for that. I am also thankful for courage to do a thing, courage to audition for something, to apply to something, just to step out on faith and be fearless and courageous and just launch out into the deep and do it for real. And the last one, the last thing I'm thankful for is the backing of heaven. I am thankful that when God opened my eyes, I saw the chariots of fire. It was more of us than it is of them.
Amen.
I am thankful. Miss Kayla, you got any thankful thoughts? Give me three.
Um, I'm definitely thankful for my family.
Yeah.
I'm thankful at this time to be of good health. I'm really thankful for that. And I'm thankful that like Jesus loves me. Like I love him. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. That's what I'm thankful for.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, for those of you who do not know Miss Kayla Baxter, she is a radio personality. She is a professional development coach, acting coach. She's a host. She's a wife. She's a mother, and I am so happy to have her
Mhm.
on the vibe segment tonight. Hi,
Hi, Lexi.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for asking me.
No problem. Listen, I admire so many people. So like this was the perfect opportunity for me to be like, yep, I'm gonna ask her. And thank God nobody has said no yet. Like it's always been like, yeah, sure, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, great. So you guys inspire me for so I just want to listen.
Amen. Amen.
How you been during this pandemic? I mean, everybody has a different answer to that question.
Yeah, I've been well. Um, my family we're blessed.
Mhm.
We've been blessed. We have, unfortunately, we've lost some family and friends during this time. That has been hard.
Mhm.
Um, but also during this time, we've come together even closer as a family. So that's been good. And I'm thankful, like, as I look back even on my journey to the way that God orchestrated things, even with jobs that I wanted to have, that I don't have, or that I didn't have, I'm thankful for my journey, um, even in this time, because it left me, I always had to, well, we'll get into this, I'm sure, but I always had to create things for myself and even create work prior to this.
Okay.
So it led me to, there's a lot of different things that I'm able to do because I kind of didn't necessarily always fit in a certain place.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm thankful during this time to even have employment, even if it's something that we had to create on our own, because
Mhm.
I know a lot of people are struggling.
Mhm.
So I am thankful for that. And that's how things have been on this side. We've been blessed and we've lost, we've had some loss, but our family has come together and we're close and we're still here. And I'm thankful.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I always say, like this pandemic has definitely been a gift and a curse. But
Mm-hmm.
thank God for the tools like that He gave us before, and we were probably looking at it like, "What am I gonna do with this?" Like, but now it's like, "Oh, okay, now I can pull
Right.
this out my bag and use this." So yeah, definitely. So have you been doing any self care? Um, yes.
Yeah. So like I make these, you know how they have those, I guess it's like immunity shot that you can take. Not like a needle, but like they have these, it's like turmeric and garlic and vitamin C. And so I make those for myself. Like I take different spices that are good for you. And I put a little bit of honey. I didn't put honey in the beginning, but now I put a little bit of honey, and it has lemon and garlic and turmeric and cayenne pepper and black pepper. And I, with hot water, and I mix it up, and I will take a container of this. And after, the wonderful thing, and garlic too, I don't know if I think I said garlic. I probably said it 5 times, but after I take it, it gives me a boost of energy.
I was going to ask, what does it do?
Oh yeah, it gives you a boost of energy. And besides it giving you energy, a lot of those different spices and herbs are ones that you should take to build up your immune system.
Okay.
So that's something that I do for myself. Also, my husband and I, we go for daily walks. Okay. And we go in the morning, and it's one of my favorite parts of the day. Just to be able to get out and go for a walk. And and of course prayer. But yeah, my self-care is, I guess, my walks and taking time out for myself, and my little I guess you call it an elixir.
So I didn't know that black pepper was good for you.
Yeah, black pepper is good for you as well.
I knew about the garlic. I knew about, did you say anything about ginger?
Ginger is in there as well. I did not, but I do put ginger in there as well. Okay. And definitely in like fresh lemon. I squeeze that lemon and put it in there, and all that.
Do you get in it? And that's what I need. I need energy.
Yeah, it gives me energy. It's like if you were to, some people crash from coffee, but it's like as if you were to like maybe drink a full cup of coffee. Like if I'm sleepy, I usually time it in the middle of the day, and I'll take this little shot of this mixture that I have. And with all those different spices and herbs, and it like wakes me right back up, and I keep going with my day, and it makes me feel good, and it's healthy for you. And I'm also eating right now as a pescatarian, but that's something I found as I've gotten older, in order to like different foods, a lot of processed foods as I've gotten older have kind of made me not feel so good. But I also figured that out during this time, and I'm listening to my body and taking care of myself.
Absolutely. That's important. Like I said, our ears and our eyes are open in a different way during this pandemic. It's like a kind of a terror, but it's been a blessing to a lot of people. So I'm happy for you. You got to let me know that mixture. I don't even know what to call it. So your elixir.
I guess that's what it's called.
So here on the Vibe Show, we like to keep it a little fun.
Okay.
In addition to the next topic, I like to play a game.
All right.
So this game is entitled Finish the Lyric.
Okay.
Okay. So you got to give me the next words that come after where I stop. You got to pick up from where I stop. And then you got to tell me who the song is by.
What? Okay. Wait.
Ready? Here we go. Finish the lyric. Last night I saw you standing. I started pretending I knew you.
I knew you well. You was
yeah.
Do. So was I.
Who is it?
Babyface? I don't know.
One more time.
I don't know, Lexi.
A half a point. We won't revoke your black card just yet. We let you.
Let me tell you something. Like I'm not gonna project anything on me. Lord help me. I'm gonna pray and say, Lord help me. But I will tell you this, that Mr. Jawan Baxter is the one who knows all the music. But today I hope that I know. I'm not going to yield.
Here we go. Here we go.
Mm.
Clock strikes upon the hour and the sun begins to fade. Still got time to figure out how to chase my blues away. I've done all right up till now. It's the light of day that shows me how. And when the night falls, my loneliness calls. Oh.
Oh, I want to dance with somebody. Woo. I want to feel the heat with somebody.
Hey. Hey.
With somebody who loves me.
Yeah.
I hope. Whitney Houston.
Yes.
Okay. Woo. Woo. That was that prayer. That was that prayer.
All right, last one.
But can you I'm like a tenor. Can you
All right, then this was a good one. This one is a good one. Here we go. You are my fire, my one desire. Believe when I say
I want it that way.
Hey! Who is it? Who's it by? Who's it by?
I have no idea. I don't know. Who sings it?
All right, so it's a Caucasian boy band, but it's not. It's not. Oh, it is. It is. Oh, I was gonna say it's not them, but it is them.
Who is it?
Not the Front Street Boys, but
the Backstreet Boys, baby.
That was awesome. So, Miss Kayla, tell us a little bit about yourself.
You know what's funny? Like I interview people all the time, and I ask these questions, but I ain't never asked myself. Okay, so I am an encourager. I am a speaker. So and God told me that I'm a speaker for him. Yeah. I am also a healer of hearts. And he told all these things I'm telling you are things that I prayed about and he revealed to me. Right. I'm a mommy. Right. I'm a wife. I am like all the jobs that I have are connected to who God told me that I was. So yeah, I do all those things, but through God has given me different platforms. I'm also like, I'm a friend, like I'm a good listener. I'm a good listener. Like I can listen to people and I pray about like what it is that I'm supposed to tell them. And God, he'll let me know what to tell them as long as I trust him. So I have like, a lot of platforms, but they are all to use my gifts in that way. So through radio and acting and teaching and, all that different jazz, all that different stuff. But that's who I am within, I mean, not the jobs, but the gifts that he gave me. And, that's who I am in those different positions. But I'm a mommy. I love to laugh. I love to smile. I love to encourage people. So that's who I am.
And you can tell you just give off that like aura because like this is not the first time we've been in each other's presence. The group that I used to sing with, I don't know, did you mentor us or were you just, I don't remember, but you, every time we went somewhere, you were always there.
I don't remember either.
I mean, I feel like that was like the leader of the group. She would know, but I was just a part of the group. But you were always there and you were always the same, always smiling, always so bright and always so like bubbly, just always the same. Always. So, now, just, reading a little bit of like your background and like talking a little bit to you, you have a lot of experience in radio, like we said, in acting and professional development, but they all fall under the category of servitude, of serving. What does serving mean to you?
So I always tell a story about, not even tell a story, but every job that I've had, I served at it first. So I did for free first in order to learn how to do whatever skill that was. Some of them I directly went after, like radio, being an intern and volunteering and working underneath people first. Ed Long and also CC McGee, Tamlin Henry, Lorraine Ballard Morrill. Like, I've been blessed to learn from some of the best in the business, and Daryl Taylor. Like, I was 30 okay, so first I was in 8th grade the first time I visited radio. And I was like, you know what? We had work week at our school, and which meant we could work whatever job we wanted to for a week, as long as the job said yes. And my mother asked me where I wanted to work, and I said that I wanted to work at Power 99 because it was my favorite radio station back then, and I listened to it every day, getting ready in the morning, BJ in the morning, and this and that. And Lady B was there. And my mother called the radio station and talked with Lorraine Ballard Morrill, and she gave me a 1-week internship, and I was on the radio for that. Like, when I was 12, I guess I was 13, so I was on the radio for that week. And then I met Lady B, and she kept me for that summer, and I worked underneath her. And then as an adult, I worked with her at Radio 1, which is now Urban 1, which was pretty amazing. And she's gonna get me because she's always like, stop telling people that you worked with me when you were a teenager. But she wasn't that much older than me then, because she was young back then, but still, she like, stop telling that story. Sorry, I got it. Like, this is my story. So, but then I revisited it at age 30, and I was like, you know what? And at this time, I was in school getting a doctorate in education. And I was like, because I'm also a theater professor. So I was going down that lane of academia. And I found out that, like, I was 30. And I was the head of the theater department at Lincoln University, which was pretty young. And I was like, wait a minute, I wanted to act versus I wasn't ready to necessarily teach full time, even though I was doing it full time instead of me acting as well. So I, while I was there, during lunchtime, I would sit with the different professors that were there who were like 50. And at that time I was 30, and they're like, so what do you think about the state of blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, yo, this can, I like, I'm not ready. I'm still not like that now. So I know, like, some people, it's a wonderful career, but it's something that I like. All of my jobs I do sometimes.
Okay.
And I like it like that because I like variety. And I think God called me to do different things at different times. And that's cool for me. And that's how my life works. I don't know what question you asked me, but
serving. But it's no. Yeah, keep going.
So so I worked in radio first as an intern and worked underneath of many people so that I could learn. And I did mention some of them. And even I worked at Freedom Theater in order to learn how to act. And as a teenager, I was a demonstrator and then an assistant teacher and then a teacher. But for years, I didn't get paid at it. Eventually when I was a teacher, of course, I got paid. But I've, taught kids for free or for little or nothing. And then, eventually doing that for so many years, once I graduated from Temple with my undergraduate degree, it allowed me to go to get my master's with a teaching fellowship because I had all these years of experience. So I went to the University of Arizona and I had to teach while I was a master's student. I taught the undergraduate students, and then came out of college and called my university. And look, relationships, y'all, it's important to keep good relationships with people. You will get a job by word of mouth faster than you will
by your resume. Yeah,
your resume. So that's really important. I was able to call my university and say, hey, I just graduated, and they're like, oh, great, we've got a job for you. Like, it was literally that easy. But that's because of the relationship that you keep with people. You don't, even if people treat you bad, y'all, you pray about it, ask God to help you with it, you move on, because you never know who God is going to use to bless you.
Yeah.
So don't go back and be treating people bad because they treat you this way. And I don't even play that game.
It's okay to work for free, Alexis. Don't be discouraged, Alexis. It's okay to work for free. Because I'm like, I really like it, but I just want to make a couple of dollars. And I just feel like then other motives come behind it. And then other stresses come behind it. And then the beauty of it and what God wants to do with it is out of the way because you chasing that imaginary dollar. And he's like, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not opening that up. I didn't even say I wanted that. So it's okay. It's okay.
Well, let me tell you what I did with that, Alexis. I did none of these jobs, even now, I didn't work any of them full time.
Okay.
So I had a job that paid me money while I was pursuing the other things that I wanted to do.
That's where I am right now.
Right. So it allowed me to work underneath someone, like even the trainings that I do. I worked with a man named Frank Acox, who went and did professional development and trainings. For 4 years, I worked underneath him for free and like went and got his coffee. But again, like I'm almost, gee, I was about to tell you how old I am. I don't care. I'm 48. So when I was in my 20s, I'm young. It allowed me to work for someone for 4 years, twice a week, and still, pursue another career. Wow. So after working for him, I learned how to create my own workshops and trainings and start my own business. Yeah. And because this is what he did. Mine was in a different vein, and I used theater and education. I done made up so many jobs, but I also not only making them, creating different jobs, or creating. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I was able to then, I did many different things, and when the season for them was over, I had to learn that the season for that thing was over. Because I've done things and, tried to go back and, I used to have this show that was called Aunt Dell's Hat Box. And it was my acting, but it was also teaching. And I would use different letters and colors to help teach kids, their colors. My mother was a preschool teacher. And I was like, what do the preschoolers need to know? They need to know their colors and this and that. So I would travel to different preschools and become this character who had this hat box. Aunt Dell was my grandmother. And I would go in this hat box and take out different articles of clothing and become characters that would teach them. And people would pay me. And I went to conferences, and different people would fly me out to conferences. This is when I was in my 20s and early 30s. Like, they would fly me out and I would present as a theater and education specialist. Now, that is a real thing, but back then I did not know that. I thought I made it up. I went and got me some business cards and was like, I'm a theater and education specialist. And this is before like people were asking people for their clearances. So now you gotta have your clearances and everything. But back then, I wanted to do this particular job, and I had already been traveling to different preschools teaching the children. And I'm like, I can make some money training these teachers who don't know how to use theater in the classroom. I already had a degree in theater. So I had my bachelor's and my master's degree. But in between acting, I needed a job.
Mm.
Because sometimes you get hired as an actress, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they don't pick you. They're going to pick somebody else. That's the reality of life in general. So you sometimes got to make your own way. So I would make up these shows, and I said, you know what? I'm going to start training these teachers how to teach children in their classroom using theater. And I went, and my mom had all these books, and looked up what it was that the children need to learn: social emotional development, cognitive development. And I was like, oh, this game I can make up teaches cognitive development. This, thing, all these different things. Did the same thing with these characters. Made up. So I taught the teachers how to create things for their classroom. Just like the man that I worked with for those 4 years was training the teachers. So I took what I learned from theater and mixed it with what I learned from Mr. Acox, and came up with my own
blueprint.
Yeah. And I did that for years. And then one day I stopped and I went on to acting and started doing radio. And in between then I needed a job. And I went and made these flyers and was like, Miss Kayla comes back with Aunt Belle's hat box, and nobody hired me. And I mean, I worked at the Please Touch Museum and was a special guest coming to perform, but nobody would hire me anymore. I had to understand that the season for that was over, and that God was letting me know. If enough people tell you no, but God is calling you to something else. That's not to say, people will say no to things, and that doesn't mean that you should stop trying. But in this case, I knew that God was calling me to other things, but I made a lot of money at this thing in the past. So I was trying to make it happen. And God said no, and he pulled me in a totally different direction. Yeah. So you got to know when it's time to stop. Although you asked me about serving, you got a lot of other stuff.
Still, I'll take it, because you are so describing me. This is, we'll talk.
Good.
With professional development and everything, I know you put a video up a little while ago about goals, and a lot of friends are entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurs just starting out, or desiring to be an entrepreneur. Can you give us 3 key things to keep in mind to setting your goals?
So the first one is to dream big. Dream big. So when you think of when you were young and there were things that you wanted to do with your life, but you got older and you started believing that those things couldn't happen. Maybe somebody told you that, like, girl, you ain't never going to be able to do that. Those things are easy to happen, and we let other people influence what our dreams were and what our dreams are. Don't be afraid to dream big. That would be my first one. Like, even to make another thing you got to do is make out a list of those things that you want for your life. What do you want for your life? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? Like a list that's just for you. I always have meetings with myself.
Wow.
And it might sound a little crazy,
No.
but it's not. Like, of course, I'm not talking to myself in the meetings, but I
Right.
The talking to myself part happens with this pen and a piece of paper. And I will write down, I'll ask myself questions. Like, what do you want, Kayla? And I'll write down those different things that I want. What do I want for my life? What do I want for my family's life? What do I want for my children? What do I want for my husband? Those are also things that I'll list, even like things that I'm going to pray about, what do I want right now? See, I look at life in seasons. Just like the Bible, there's a season for everything. What do I want in this season? Understanding that the next season is going to be different, and allowing the next season of my life to be different. That's okay. if this thing worked in this season, but it's not going to work for the next one. And maybe that's why things are always changing for me. Because if God's going to change it, I allow him to. Yeah. Also so after you made your list and you think of like, what do you want your life to be like now? And what do you see for yourself in the future? Not what you think you can have. Because again, we're coming to this with all these things that, all these experiences. Sometimes people will project their experiences on you. But you got to be careful too who you tell what it is that you want to do. You could tell the wrong person and they'll plant a seed of doubt. And that seed of doubt, I mean, it can be your mama. Yeah. It can be someone, and sometimes people who love you because they haven't had those same experiences, or they've had a bad experience with their dream, is going to tell you, baby, I don't know if you can do that. I don't think, maybe you should do something else. And it's not that they don't love us. They're just speaking out of their own experience. Well, I've had to learn when to be quiet. Yeah. Who to tell. Yeah. And when to tell them. What I have learned from experience is to tell people, some people, later on once it's done. And then that same person who would have planted that seed of doubt is able to celebrate with me because they see it in the success of it, not in the infant stage when it can be crushed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So I think the last thing I want to say is with your goals is to be specific. Yeah. So, and you want to also have a timetable for them. So like, if I'm going to say, I want, like for a long time, I wanted to take our girls, my husband and I, we wanted to take our girls on a plane. Mm-hmm. And we didn't, my girls are 14 and 15 now. And they took their first plane ride at, I think they were 11, maybe 11 and 12. And it wasn't that we didn't have the means before, but it was because things can stay in dreamland if you do not make them goals. It's like, one day I'm going to do this thing. And it's okay. And that one day goes from 1 year. I see you, Lexus. That one day goes from 1 year to the next year to the next year. I had these notebooks. You know, I told you I had meetings with myself. Well, I had these notebooks that I found when we were moving. And the notebooks, I had like 7 of them. And each notebook had I had a to-do list. And it was like, I want to do. And don't you know, I looked in them books, they had the same thing from year after year. Why? Because they were in my dream world. If you don't take those things from your dream world and then allow them to be in a goal, like, this is how I'm going to do it. Step 1 is this. We wanted to take my daughters on the plane. We talked about it. One day we're going to take them on a plane. Well, in order to make this thing happen, first thing I did was pray about it and believe that it could actually happen, because you got to believe. She is blessed because she believed the Lord would do just what he said. Like, yo, what? Luke 1:45, you got to believe. Exactly. Yeah. When I say yo, that means I really believe, I really mean it. Yo. So that thing, like, it was in dream world. And I was like, you know what? I actually made the phone calls I needed to make. First, I needed a place for us to stay. I called my godbrother in California. My husband had never been. I always wanted to go to California. I figured, you know, I called around and found out how much money I would need for the tickets. I had a job. It was just a matter of saving that little bit amount. I had a date. By this date, I'm going to save this amount of money. Out of every paycheck, I'm going to put aside this amount of money. It took me a couple of months, but I saved the money in order to go. We had a place to stay. We stayed at my godbrother's. For that Christmas that year, I surprised my family. They had no idea. It was the last gift that they opened. Let me tell you what else I did. I was like, Lord, so we're going to California. If we can make it to Disneyland, just please make that happen. If that could happen. I just left it like that. Let me tell you what Jesus did. So My god brother and his wife, they're actors, right? My god brother and my god sister, they're actors. They married now. They weren't married then. And they've both been on Broadway. Well, they sent out this email and they was like, do you know anybody who has tickets to Disneyland? And the email went to somebody else that had an email, that went to somebody else that had an email. This Caucasian man, oh, so wait, when we got off the plane, he was like, make sure y'all eat, right? And this is my god brother. He picked this up. He's like, make sure y'all eat. And he's like, we had see all these signs that says Disneyland. And he's like, do you know where you're going? And the kids are like, oh, are we going to Disneyland? Let me tell you what happened. This Caucasian man that my god brother did not know, that my god sister did not know, that nobody knew, was in the play Frozen at Disneyland and met us at the front gates with 5 tickets to both theme parks for free, girl. 5. So not only did God take what I was able to do in the natural and make the whole trip supernatural. Look what Jesus did just by having a little bit of faith and going after that. That's what he did. And we went to Disneyland and went to California and just had a beautiful time. Only thing we had to pay for was our food.
Yeah. That's the true definition of if you make one step, he'll take 2.
What?
When he just start running, you take one step and he just run on.
So that's why I don't know what question you asked me again. You asked me something about about goals. So going from dream world and actually making them goals so that they can actually become accomplishments.
Wow. That is so for me. I don't know if but that is so for me. That is so for me. I feel like the strategy, being strategic about what you want to do with your business is key. I think it sounds like if you have enough patience and you can sit down and write down the strategy, God will bless every single thing you write down and just put it in order and make it come to pass. So strategy, prioritizing, write it down, make it come to life. Like, this is for me.
Write the vision, make it plain, and run with it. And run with it. And sometimes, oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, sometimes, like, I know with my husband, like, he'll show my husband things in the future. And we have learned that the things that he's showing him are things that we then end up having to wait for. Because when we try to do it before time, like try to make it happen on our own, it never works. But when it is in the right time, like he'll show him things and then he'd be like, Juwan will be like, yo, we about to do this right now. But we have learned that sometimes it's not in the right season. And God is showing him so that he can prepare him for what's coming. And the same thing happens in business. Like we wanted to have I'm going to be honest. My husband wanted to have a radio station. Now, because I knew like what all this entailed, I ain't want no radio station. I was fine with having a radio show. And each time he would mention this thing to me, I was like, mm-mm. Now, meanwhile, now I'm the one like, well, we're going to do this and we're going to like all excited about it. But in the beginning, I didn't see the same vision that he saw. But what I didn't do, like God has taught me, and this is the thing about marriage too, when to be quiet. Because just like people will plant that seed of doubt, sometimes in marriage, for those dreams that you have and that your husband has, sometimes we can be the person that plants that seed of doubt. So I have learned that the visions that God has given my husband, even if I don't know how it's going to work, I just say, yep. Like, and I'm quiet. And then God shows me how it's going to work. And he does it. But we don't want to be those people that stops that amazing promise that God has in its infant stages. And it can happen through marriage and happen through friendship. It can happen through relationship, based on what we believe, based on all of our beliefs are based on our own experiences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So think about how easy it is. It's far more easier to destroy a seed than it is to destroy a tree.
Yeah.
Time it takes to chop down a tree and barrel it all up and make wood and all, but think of how much time it takes to just snap a seed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we definitely have to be the covering at all times. And remember, I am just like, this is so for me. This is so for me. I hope this
Praise
is
God.
blessing somebody because I know it's blessing me. Okay, one more game. This is one gotta go.
Is what?
One gotta go.
Oh Lord. Okay.
We're gonna do two music and two food.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one gotta go. Songs. Return of the Mac. This is how we do it. Before I let go, or Poison.
Return of the Mac. This is how we do it. I heard that too many times in the club. Back in my club days. Ow. Like, no, somebody's like, what? This is how we do it. Yeah. But what's that one? The one you said,
Poison or
before I let go. Yeah, I still want to hear that.
Okay. All right. Okay. I give you that. Okay. Now we love them all. We love these artists. I'm getting ready to name. We love them. It's nothing personal. It's just a game. One got to go for 5 seconds and then they could come back. R.I.P. Some of them already have gone on before.
Oh Lord.
James Brown, Stevie Wonder, and he's still with us. Somebody please bubble wrap him because we done lost everybody else. Michael Jackson, Prince. One gotta go.
That's hard. I guess the one I probably listened to the least was Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I do, there's things I love about Prince. But out of those four, the one James Brown was real complicated, man. But he did a lot for our music. Prince was complicated anyway.
Complications there.
I guess I don't know.
Okay, all right. Here we go. Food. Pizza, buffalo wings, steak, or shrimp?
Steak right now.
They gotta go.
Right now, yeah.
Or would it be steak? You would keep it?
Probably pizza, because pizza just is like, you can have pizza anytime.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, you can have other things too, but I like them better than pizza.
Okay. All right, now this is for shout out to Thanksgiving is on his way. I probably won't be able to do much, but macaroni and cheese, sweet potatoes, greens, or cornbread. One gotta go.
It depends on who made the macaroni and cheese.
It really does.
It really does. My sister-in-law makes the best macaroni and cheese. My sister Wandy, she makes the best macaroni and cheese. If Wandy is making the macaroni and cheese, it's got to stay.
Okay, so Wandy made the macaroni and cheese.
Who you say? You said macaroni and cheese, and what else?
Sweet potatoes, greens, or cornbread?
Sweet potatoes.
It's the bread for me.
The bread, corn. Oh, I love some cornbread.
I do too, but
it depends on who made the cornbread. Yeah. She made the cornbread, it's got to stay. It depends on who made this stuff.
It does depend on who cooked it. 100% for real. So we talked a lot about serving. We talked a lot about your experiences and acting and teaching. I didn't know you had so many degrees, and I didn't know that you were had a degree in education. I didn't know that at all.
I am not yet.
Okay.
I'm not done. I ain't tell that part of the story. I left to pursue acting. So I have like another year to finish. One day, maybe when the kids grow up, I'll go back and finish and get my doctorate.
Okay. So what would you say was your most memorable moment throughout your entire journey that was like that impacted you the most, and you would tell someone who was like going your way, me, like what would be your advice from that memorable moment?
So the first thing I thought of was I was in a play at Temple University. It was my senior year, and I hadn't been cast in anything. And I didn't know, like, I didn't know I was good. You know, being in that play, it was Ozzie Jones directed it, who's a really amazing director here in Philadelphia. And I learned so much from that because he allowed me he really brought out my gifts as an actress, and really, like, anything I could imagine to do, all I had to do was tell him and he would be like, yeah, let's do it. Like, he was one of those directors. And I had such confidence when I was done.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the key to anything, like believing that you could do it. So the fact that I believed that I was good, and I pursued acting and pursued, it gave me confidence in just being in front of people. I'd been acting, and been in acting classes since I was a little girl, but it was the first time that I was actually good.
Wow.
And knowing that or at least that I believed or embraced being good at something, you know, and knowing that definitely changed my life, because I had the confidence then to do the things that I was called to do. And that made a difference. And confidence and having the courage to do what you have been called to do is the key to it all. Because you could want to do so many things, but if you don't believe that you can do them, then you'll never, like, they're just not going to happen. One of my favorite scriptures, I command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be discouraged or dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Like, I need that for my life. And I do so many things that require confidence. Like, me even speaking in front of people or hosting an event, or like every job I have calls me to speak. And I'm not going to say I don't get nervous. Like, God called me to speak, called me to be a speaker for him. So I don't have a choice, but, and I also enjoy it. Like, I enjoy when God tells me something to tell somebody. Oh my goodness. And I get goosebumps, and like, just knowing that it came from him, and to see somebody just be encouraged or whatever happens to them, like, the joy that it gives me is just not comparable. So, but it doesn't mean that I don't get nervous. Like, me being an actor and getting in front of people and it's opening night, oh my goodness. The only thing I can do is pray and ask the Lord to help me. I was never one of those people who could learn lines like that. Like, I got to do, where people have photographic minds, I got to do 10 things just to remember these lines. I got to dance them, sing them, put them in my ears, rap them, like, just where other people are like, oh yeah, I study my lines, blah, blah, blah. Yo, but when I learn them lines, like, God me to really bless people. But the work that has to come beforehand has to be done. And that's when the enemy, we talked about that seed, right? That's when the enemy will be like, you ain't gonna learn these lines. You can't do it. You gotta speak to that voice that is telling you the opposite. And sometimes the only thing I can speak is Jesus, 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 help me, help me to drown out the voice of the enemy. That if he can get me in that seed, but because I say that scripture to myself and I got God walking with me, as long as he walks with me, I can conquer anything. But we have to know and believe and have him walk with us, or else it's going to be crushed when you're in your baby steps of being who God called you to be. I'm done, Lexis. I don't know if you.
Oh, so
Yes. Amen.
those Baxters, how can we like listen to your radio? I know you had Corinne Hawthorne on what, yesterday?
Yeah.
So like give us the address. Like how can we tune in and follow you guys? If you guys are watching, please follow the page, right? Give us your address so we'll know.
Okay. So you want to follow those Baxters on social media. Baxter is our last name. And you're like, look at those Baxters. So Baxter is our last name. We're on everything that we're on social media is those Baxters. Our website is thosebaxters.com. Um, our show comes on Monday through Friday. We are on in the morning, those Baxters in the morning. This is our very first morning show. We've been on, this is 8 weeks, very first ever. I'm telling you, God is always doing something new, and you got to be ready and go right along with it. A lot happened, years and years of stuff happened before this radio show that we went on, be on every morning, but even the station and all of that. But please listen. Rhythm and Praise is the name of the radio station, rhythmandpraisela.com. You can also find us on Reach Gospel Radio. We're on Saturday nights. We're on from 7 to 11. A lot of the people that I mentioned, like CC McGee and Ed Long, Desi, oh my gosh, now I started naming people, Hassan, Mark, oh, y'all, we have so many people, Lonnie Hunter. We're all on the station together. We have a amazing lineup that's on Rhythm and Praise. We play only Rhythm and Praise music, which is like, I guess, urban gospel. It's gospel's R&B.
Yeah.
But you can find that on rhythmandpraisela.com. We're part of Dash Radio, which has 10 million listeners a day, and that's out of California. And only God could do that.
Yeah.
We got California and across the world. So God, he doing all this stuff.
He does it every time. Every single time. So Miss Kayla, are you working on anything? Can we expect anything for the rest of 2020 or in 2021?
Yo, like, okay. So yes. So what I am working on, the first thing that came to mind was being alive. But no, we're all working on staying healthy and taking care of families, like really making sure the kids are okay with this online school, making sure my family's okay. Then after all of that and making sure I'm okay and being healthy, after all that, I'm working on, like, one thing that I really want to do is be able to provide like the things that we talked about today. I do trainings. I work with West Philadelphia Skills Initiative is one of the contracts that I have, and my husband does parenting classes and is director of parenting, fatherhood, and family initiatives.
Okay.
So we work a lot with youth.
Okay.
And in addition to that, I just started a site, a Facebook page called For My Sisters with Goals. So please follow that. Thank you for asking that question. I don't want to forget that. And I want to be able to give women the encouragement they need to follow their goals. So I have a lot of, I just put up, there's a picture that I have about being happy. And I say, I decided to be happy, so I was. And how things are based on a decision, deciding to be, as a man thinketh, so is he. So there's a lot of key scriptures that I use for my life, and I want to share them with other women so that they can go after those things that God has called them to be. So that is something that I'm working on my Facebook page and also Instagram page for my Sisters with Goals. It's like 2 weeks old. But I want to make that a platform where people can go and even go and take a class with me directly, or even take a class when I'm not there if they need to do so. So I'm working on that kind of internet stuff, how you do that. So, which is not easy.
At all. I just want to thank you so much, Miss Kayla. This was this was very informative, and it touched me. It really, 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 really did. I was impacted. I hope those who are watching was impacted. I'm going to repost this again, like throughout the week, because this was definitely awesome. I want everybody to wow, to see this. If you would like to sew or into the Vibe with Lexi Live podcast, you can cash at me at CARVERSMOM, Carver's Mom. That's money sign CARVERSMOM, Carver's Mom. I would like to thank you guys again for joining me. I can't wait until next week. It's going to be awesome. I thank you so much again, Miss Kayla. Thank y'all for joining. Watch next week. Bye with Lexi Live. Peace.